Hidden in Turning Red's story about the messiness of growing up are a ton of secrets that predict the movie's big twists and that Godzilla-sized finale. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers, I'm Jan, and in this video I'm explaining all the secret symbolism, details and clues in Pixar's latest hit. Spoilers ahead, so take care. There are lots of signs early on in the movie that, by the end, Mei will choose to embrace her red panda spirit. For example, when she transforms for the first time, she tries to hide the change she's undergoing by wearing a hat to cover up her new red hair. But there are literally signs everywhere telling her to be true to herself. It says "be yourself" on the notice board right behind her friends, and the other words on the board, like loyal, caring and fun, neatly describe Mei's ride or die mates and how they'll later support her when they discover her secret.
We love you, Mei.
You're our girl.
Yeah, no matter what. Panda or no panda.
There's also the Dare to be Different, Dare to be You poster, an encouragement that she doesn't need to repress this strange new panda version of herself. Then there's the sign "Nothing changes if nothing changes," which hints at Mei upending her family's tradition of locking away their panda spirits. And finally, the Dream Big poster also anticipates how, in the end, Mei will decide to keep her fairy 8-foot-tall side in her life. When Mei and her squad perform a spontaneous version of Four Towns' Nobody Like You in the street, there's another hidden message, this time to awaken your potential dreams. On top of that, the Four Town flyer that Abby shows Mei reveals that the name of the band's tour is Breaking Free. It's only on screen for a split second, but it's another subtle suggestion that Mei Lee is going to cut the apron strings and become her own person. And when she high-fives Red Panda statue Bart and rubs Lisa's tummy, it's a signal to how she'll end up accepting both sides of her identity. Even before we learn the truth about Ming's own red panda transformation as a young woman, there's plenty of clever clues that ready us for that reveal, and set up the big finale with Mei's mum taking on her humongous panda form once more, and also their ancestor Sun Yi welcoming red panda Mei into the world. To begin with, notice how both Ming and Sun Yi one by one appear in the shot, as Mei tells us,
"Some of my moves are also hers,"
which emphasises the crucial panda connection between all three women. Ming is also framed by two wooden carvings of red pandas, and in the altar picture of Sun Yi, there are two more red pandas which emerge during Mei's nightmare, all of which points to both the mother and daughter pandas in the finale, and also Sun Yi and Mei's appearance as red pandas right at the end. Notice also how when they exit the temple, not only is Ming standing next to the much angrier looking statue of the two, a hint to the Mingzilla version of herself, but if you look carefully, you'll also see that the statue on the left has a young red panda under one of its paws, foreshadowing the dual mother-daughter transformation. An indication as to just how dangerous Ming's panda would become was in the scar on Mei Lee's grandma's face.
She and your grandma had a terrible fight,
which you can still spot on grandma's face when she turns into a panda herself. Likewise, red panda Ming has a similar hairstyle to her human counterpart. And the fact that there are going to be even more red pandas in the form of her aunties and grandma is also signalled during Mei's nightmare, when she sees masses of them run over the roof of the family temple. By the way, you can literally see red panda faces hidden in various accessories worn by Mei's aunties, just as you can in Ming's pendant. Another clue to the final showdown between Mingzilla and Mei Mei is via the welcome mural that Mei Lee runs past at the start of the film. The wall painting is of course in keeping with the Chinatown location, however each creature also represents one of the two women. The green one symbolises Ming, who's predominantly dressed in green throughout the movie, versus the orangey red one, which represents Mei and her generally red clothing. And much of Turning Red is full of clever colour symbolism that accentuates the differences between Mei and her mum. Red and green are colours that contrast sharply with one another, so shades of red are often used around Mei, while green is used for Ming, right down to their nail varnish, eyeshadow and soles of their shoes. The colour differences emphasise the fact that Mei Lee isn't just Ming's mini-me. She's her own distinct person, and Mei coming into her own as a young adult is the movie's main theme.
Some people are like, be careful. Honoring your parents sounds great, but if you take it too far, you might forget to honor yourself.
Intriguingly though, both mother and daughter also have just a splash of the other's colour in their outfits. Mei has a green hair clip and Ming has a red pendant, which signals that despite their differences they're still connected, and it's also a clue to the fact that they both have red panda spirits. Another curious detail is that although Ming dislikes Miriam because she views her as a threat to her own relationship with Mei,
Miriam, I mean, she's a nice girl, but maybe she's slowing you down.
both Ming and Miriam mostly wear green. A hint perhaps that while they're different in many ways, Mei's mum and friend have more in common than Ming would like to think, as after all they both love Mei and ultimately want the best for her. Mei's grandma and aunties also favour green, emphasising both their family connection and the similarity between Ming and her own mother, whose relationship is also complicated by feelings of perfectionism and not being good enough, something we also see happening between Mei and Ming. Mirroring and symmetry is another technique used to highlight the state of Mei and Ming's relationship. We see this first in the opening family snapshots, but also in the first scene set at the family temple.
You ready?
Let's do this.
Mei and Ming even sweep in sync with one another, clean the red panda statues in sync, and after a long day sigh and get up in sync. Interestingly, Ming cleans the statue with the more controlled, calm expression, while Mei's statue has more of an animated or startled look, reflecting some of the feelings she'll go through as she transforms. After falling out of sync for much of the film as Mei grows into her own, the mother-daughter symmetry and mirroring is back again by the end, after Mei helps Ming deal with her own issues of inadequacy in relation to grandma. Now, if you'd like to discover even more details hidden in Turning Red, such as all the Pixar references to movies like Luca, Inside Out, Coco, Lightyear and Toy Story, tap here to watch my Turning Red Easter eggs video. There's also a link in the video description. So what do you think of Turning Red, and what were your favourite moments in the movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, then do like and share this video, I really appreciate it. Thanks for enjoying this movie with me, and hope you have a marvellous movie loving week. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers!